Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today we're playing the Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is another early access one, so it's Norska! Yay! So we're here with everyone's favourite Troll King, Throg the Troll King, which is awesome. So we're actually against the Tomb Kings, and I think this is a pretty damn good matchup for Norska. I think Tomb King's going to struggle against Norska generally. So yeah, so let's start going through it. So Throg is good. So Throg, he's got some great abilities, like the Wintertooth Crown, makes everyone near him unbreakable, which is great if leadership is starting to tip, because you don't want to have a terror rout. So 24 seconds, nothing's going to run away, and that can really tip a battle in your favour. So that's pretty great, I really like that. Also, fight or die. You guys might remember the stand or die that most other factions have, but that wouldn't really fit Norska. Norska is a very aggressive faction, so the idea of, you know, rather than, I don't know, solidify your ranks, you know, get your shield wall up, you know, defend the area, doesn't really fly with, you know, with Throg. No, it's fight or die. Kill the enemy quicker, please. That's great. So I love that. Fight or die. Fantastic. It almost sounds like a threat. It's pretty cool. So, also, copious vomit. Of course he does. So, he can vomit on people. And it does a lot of damage. It's basically a magic missile, but he literally just vomits on people. And that's why he's the Troll King. I love it. So also, you know, Foe Seeker, everyone has that, really. And he regenerates, which is awesome. So he regenerates, but he is weak to fire because of it. So you've got to watch out, especially against Cetra, who can imbue himself with fire damage. Yeah, you got to be pretty careful there. But he's pretty great. Causes fear as well, which is nice. Obviously got, you know, encourage, etc. But yeah, that fire weakness is going to hurt. He does have a bit of missile resist, but he has very little armor, Throg. You know, 55, that's not much. Not much at all. He does have frostbite though, so with 56 speed, you know, he can catch things fairly well and then slow them down, which is huge. I mean, minus 36% speed is pretty significant. So if he can catch something out, yeah, he's gonna keep him there. And that's really going to hurt with his bonus versus large and huge armor piercing. So against Tomb Kings, he's going to hit like a truck against all the big constructs. So he's really good. I really like Throg, especially in this matchup. But you got to watch out. Doesn't have a lot of armor. So arrows are not his friend. Also here, we got the Skinwolf Werekin. This guy is an absolute trooper. Costs a fortune. He's like 1300 with nothing on him. But again, huge. If we look at his bonus versus large, 36. So 36 bonus versus large, a ton of armor piercing, pretty huge melee attack to begin with, pretty nice charge bonus, he's really quick on his feet, bit of armor. Again, he is weak to fire though, which is annoying. At least I think he is. Oh, maybe he's not. Yeah, he is. There we go, fire weakness. So he is immune to psychology as well, he's not going to get terrified, and yeah, he does regenerate like Throg, which is awesome. So, in the front line, I've got a load of Marauder Berserkers. I have a Fire Wizard, which is awesome. Shaman Sorcerer, should I say. And I've got these Famir with great weapons to deal with the big monsters. So these guys are great. Huge anti-large. They do magic damage, so anything with physical resist, you know, doesn't matter. So that's pretty great. And yeah, they sunder armor by 30, which against, you know, Tomb Kings, they've got sort of Tomb Guard and things that are kind of medium armor. You can get them to a position where the Berserkers can really capitalize, which I really like. Obviously, you don't want them fighting the front line, but usually you're going to have big monsters saturated with the front line. So you're going to be sundering the armor and stuff around you while you're wailing on the big monsters, which is great. Again, anti-large bonus because they're a great weapon variant. These guys are great. So also some Javelins. Their anti-large is going to get through, so although they don't have armor piercing, the anti-large is still bonus damage against large targets, so they'll get a lot of work done. And they're pretty cheap. They're only 400, I think, for a unit of these, which I really like. So pretty cool. Also got some Spearmen and Marauders on either side. I've got some Norscan Ice Wolves that have a slowing effect, and they're very quick. So very cool. So you can catch something and keep it there, which is really nice. Also, Marauder Horsemen. So throwing axes are going to be really useful with their armor piercing. So for whittling things down, and it means I can put some more pressure in the back line. So, Gobbo King, who I'm up against. So he's got a front line of Tomb Guard with Halberds to deal with big monsters. Kepra Guard, which, you know, with their regeneration, they can hold steady for a long time. And he's also got some Spearmen on the sides. He's got Ushabti for the sort of anti-infantry and armor piercing. Obviously, the armor piercing isn't necessarily useful against my build, but if I brought Marauder Champions to have a, you know, more steadfast line, the Ushabti will be able to cleave through very quickly. He's also got a load of archers, and honestly, I think that's a great shout. The archers will do a fine job at whittling down, well, Throg, for instance, and also Marauder Berserkers, things like that. He's also got some Spearmen defending. He's got Skeleton Chariot. He's got Cetra with his fire damage thingy. What's it called? Something of Tra. And he's also got the Tomb Prince as well. So some pretty good, you know, fighters here. Both on horses, so the anti-large bonus that I have will do well, but they are quite nippy, so he should be able to avoid combat he doesn't want to be in. So, speeding things up. So, front lines clash, of course, and here you can see the Marauder Berserkers. They're trading fairly well against the Tomb Guard, but he's sending both Ushabti into one blob. He just wants to shut these guys down as quickly as possible. So, I've used the Flaming Sword of Ruin on all this stuff to exploit the fire weaknesses, but Throg is being shot a lot, and Cetra has used the Blessed Blade of Ptra, which will actually debuff the crap out of Throg, and it's going to do fire damage. So I need to get Throg out of there, so I'm replacing him. So Famir Warriors are running in instead. Their anti-large bonus is going to shred these guys, and I got my Javelin shooting at the Ushabti. This unit, I assume, the really damaged one, but he is getting through my Berserkers very quickly. So I'm getting Throg up and around. Over on this side, his chariots are actually having a whale of a time. I'm trying to pin him down with the Norscan Ice Wolves, but because I've lost my spearmen, his skeleton spearmen are going to do well against my Ice Wolves, who are kind of saturated everywhere. So that's not good. I won't be able to stop these skeleton chariots. In the back line, I've managed to get some Famir around the outside. I'm using a Burning Head to try and do more damage to his archers, and then I'm going to charge them with the Marauder Horsemen, because they're trash in melee, so I may as well get some damage in with the Horsemen, because I don't want to really just throw axes at them all day. They'll just turn around and shoot me. So pin them down, stop them firing, and the Famir Warriors with their anti-large, you can see, are doing a ton of damage against the Tomb Prince, etc. My Skin Wolf is running in, he's pretty damaged. Famir are running in, I'm basically just running away from all his halberds. My Sorcerer is having a bit of a tough day. Marauder Hunter Javelins are running away. As you can see, my front line is devastated. I've got some spearmen, you know, knocking around, but generally my front line is devastated. Luckily, I've got a load of big monsters, and I've completely pinned in his lords and heroes. So yes, the Tomb Guard with halberds are going to get in here and do a ton of damage, but hopefully it'll trade well. You know, I'll get the damage that I want in first. Here, he did actually use that curse, the Curse of Jaff, to basically make Throg go mental and charge in here. So it's lowered his melee attack, which is great, and it lets Cetra catch him, basically. So here, though, Skin Wolf is going to charge in here. His Tomb Prince is dead, which is excellent for me. And a lot of his archers have suffered a lot of damage, starting to crumble, which is brilliant. So did some pretty hefty damage in his back line, and I've been able to just hunt down the targets I want here with my units, which is awesome. So Ushabti summon here. They're going to help bog this stuff down, so Cetra's going to be able to slide in through the back. So that's a bit annoying for me. So I'm going to start sending my Marauder throwing axes over here. As you can see, though, the Skeleton Chariot is just having a fine time of just chasing down all these fleeing units. I think he's got a ton of kills by now. Yeah, over 100. So Chariot, really good for cleanup duty. I can't really catch him with any of my big sort of anti-large stuff, so it makes it very difficult. So I just have to try and focus down everything else and hope that it's enough. So it's pretty rough. So I am charging in with my Norscan Ice Wolves. Cetra is now crumbling, so that's pretty great for me. And there he goes, he crumbles. So my Ice Wolves now are just going to be fighting the Skeleton Chariots. I'm going to send Throg to try and help. Also going to start throwing Javelins into the back of them. My Sorcerer is back, so that's good news for me. And yeah, here my Famir did come back. And this is a bit of a mess. So there's 3 units of Ushabti in here. One of them the summon, 2 his others. But there's a load of Tomb Guard in here as well. So all of my large stuff that can deal with this stuff, the Tomb Guard can deal with fairly well. But without his leadership, he's at a strict disadvantage. So still being shot at quite a bit, and that's not ideal. If we look, yeah, he has very, very little health. But he does regenerate, so, you know, I'm going to charge him with the chariots. They've just got anti-infantry. They're not going to be able to kill Throg. It's fine. So start taking out those chariots, finally, which is great. And now my infantry has a bit of respite. So I'm going to get on the Skeleton Archers, my Spearmen. Marauders are coming in for the other unit. Unfortunately, my Famir are getting really beaten. My Skin Wolf, Werekin is getting really beaten up as well, so I need to get him out of there. But luckily, just under all these throwing axes, the Ushabti are really starting to fail. They're starting to falter. So I should be able to get my Skin Wolf Werekin out of there, and my Spearman can hold this stuff off for a little longer while I deal with his back line some more. So that's pretty great. Also, you know, Throg's still alive, I still have a Fire Sorcerer, so I've got a lot of Lords and Heroes, so you can see the balance of power is tipping in my favour somewhat. So, still got some Javelins, although there's no large targets left, it's still some more ammunition that I can throw at these guys, which is good news for me. Also, my Ice Wolves are back, so they'll be coming back in at some point. But you can see I am wrapping up all this stuff, just with Marauders, you know. Marauders will trade alright against the sort of the Spearmen and things, you know. So it's pretty cool. They'll do the job. They'll do the job alright. So there's Spearmen against these Spearmen. Yeah, I'll win that eventually. And now I can get these Marauders onto his other archers. Still a load of throwing axes, so I'm throwing into the back of these guys, so they won't get the benefit of their silver shields. if I'm throwing axes into their back, so that's great news for me. But still, he's got 2 very healthy units of halberds, which is kind of annoying for me. So charging with the marauders, trying to stop this stuff. Kepragard is coming in, so I'm going to attack them with the Werekin. You know, he's not really what it's designed for, but he's just such a good tanky fighter. He'll be able to do a lot of damage. Kepragard, they're not going to do too much damage in return, you see. But, you know, halberds are coming in, so I'm trying to charge in while they're not braced, get into his archers, and I'll run away again. So pretty sure I use Flaming Sword of Ruin again. Yep. So everyone's going to have a bit of extra damage. These guys, they just cannot catch up, so they're just getting whittled down. I think I also vomited on them. I hope I caught that on camera. Anyway, so they get taken out, these guys get taken out, everything crumbles, and that's game. So yeah, Norsca, pretty damn good in this matchup, I think. And I think there's a lot of other units that are useful, even just, you know, other Famir. They've got enough armor piercing, they don't necessarily have the anti-large, but they'll do great at just churning through all the infantry and holding their own against the big monsters that generally have anti-infantry. It's a tough matchup. Tomb Kings are very good at sort of, you know, dealing with sort of... I mean, they'll do great against dinosaurs and stuff like that, sort of single model armored scary things. But, yeah, against just hordes of, you know, armored, armor-piercing, anti-large things like Famir warriors. Like, what can you do? They don't really have a good tool for that. You know, they could throw in the, what's it called, the Necrosphinx, you know, into a build, but that's incredibly expensive, and frankly, it could just get whittled down by javelins pretty hard, you know. And, you know, with its armor being sundered, you could bring Law of Metal as well in this matchup instead of Law of Fire. So, you know, final transmutation on all that stuff, that could be really good. Or bring shadow, you know, magic just to lower its melee stats so this stuff can hit more. It's rough. It's a rough matchup, I think, for Tomb Kings. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Because just the fact that pretty much everything in the Norsca roster is just about killing things quickly, and that's what Tomb Kings suffer for, really. Their infantry has to hold for a bit, while their big stuff can get the work done, but if their infantry is getting absolutely butchered by everything that just attacks so hard, then suddenly it kind of isn't as useful. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. Norsca seem to have a really comfortable matchup here, so it's pretty damn cool, and it's great to see Throg again. I do love Throg. He's look at him, he's so happy. Aww. I mean, he is the king, so, you know, he can be happy. He's cool. Anyway, so guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.